Welcome back, everybody. Yay. I'm Jamie.
I'm Justina.
And this is Just So You Know. Today, y'all, we are talking about vegan fashion. We're talking about animals used in clothing. We're going to get some of the best fashion tips on how to look good and how to not hurt anybody in the process.
Yeah, you can look cool without being cruel. Haha, I just came up with that. Do less harm. Like, just freaking read the little tag on your clothing brand, like your clothing. Make sure there's no wool. Make sure there's no leather. Make sure there's no cashmere. Dude, my biggest like fashion awareness when it came to animal cruelty was learning about what cashmere is.
Yikes. Well, I think that's what it is most people think it's just a haircut. They think, oh, what's wrong with leather?
They need this to happen.
Well, yeah, they think that, oh, well, their cows are being killed for meat anyway. Might as well just get the leather because it's not a byproduct. So we're going to talk about all of this in this episode. But before we get there, I just want to introduce that we do have an incredible guest coming on, Raine Michaels. I've been following her Instagram page for years.
Aww.
She is a vegan model. She's in the sports world. She does broadcasting, and
which is rare. You don't really see that many women in the sports arena, especially with broadcasting.
She's cool, and I want to be like her. And so in this episode, we're going to kind of break down how to handle Hollywood and be fashionable with her later.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Great. So what's going on with you first? Fill me in.
Whoa, first of all, don't ask me that question and then give an attitude, because then I don't feel like you actually care. Okay?
I feel like you're projecting your own attitude onto me. There was no attitude in what I just said whatsoever.
Well, I just got some new shoes from BC Footwear. They're a vegan, cruelty-free, women-owned footwear line.
Okay, those are actually adorable.
They're super cute. So like fashion can be cute and fun and vegan and cruelty-free.
So you're telling me this is not leather?
No.
Okay.
Vegan. Look, it literally says vegan in the heart too.
Oh.
Yeah, they're super dope. And like, so like I've been just like trying to not put the wrong shoe on the wrong foot.
She can't even get her feet right. She doesn't know her left from her right.
I've just been like trying to like embrace the summer weather now here in New York City. I'm so excited. But when it comes to that, honestly, like I start looking at fashion like, oh my God, these shoes, I wore them to the bone. Not a real bone, but the expression.
For me, it's summer out and it's hot, and I'm like, the less clothes, the better.
Yes, but the less clothes can also be bad clothes, you know? So when it comes to shoes.
Not if you're naked.
Not if you're naked.
Not if you're in your primal state, which is honestly, if I could be naked all the time, I would be.
Literally, there's a meme. There's like a little, like, I guess you call it a meme, that it's like, I am meant to be titties out, mango in the sun, doing nothing. And I'm like, bitch, that's me. Like, I'm supposed to be on an island, literally, in like bikini if I want to, fruit, coconut water, little dogs, little monkeys running around, and like call it a day, call it a grand old life. Like, I'd rather be naked than wear animal skin, that's for sure.
Well, because most of the time we have to wear clothes, today's episode is going to break down what materials are great to wear, how you can look fashionable. I even want to ask Raine about like pairing certain outfits together, because I'm all about the less clothes, the better. And if I can make different outfits with less amount of clothes, you know, you take one shirt, pair it with a different pair of pants, like what really goes together, because I'm not really great with fashion.
Okay, yes you are. And some things that I've learned, there are like these little trends. One, it's like too light, one dark. Like you're supposed to wear two light items and then pair it with one dark item.
Can you do vice versa, the opposite of that? Two
Listen
dark,
to me.
one light.
I said two light, one dark. Period. Okay?
I always want to know if there's like a different way.
You could probably do it differently.
I kind of like dark more.
Really?
I like wearing black.
Well, you can wear black. You can wear all black. This is just like a method to like mix and match.
Two light, one dark.
Two light, one dark.
Also, if you need something new, go to a thrift store.
Right.
You don't need to buy anything like brand new from a brand or a company, especially not fast fashion. And we can get into the issues with that as well. But yeah, I found amazing. This is from a thrift store, what I'm wearing now.
I mean, we're lucky.
It's fine.
Thrifting is like super popular.
The thing with fashion is that it can be an art. It can be a way that people express themselves and bring to life new creations.
Yeah.
And so I think, when it comes to making sure that it's vegan fashion and that your items don't have fur in them, whether it's vintage or new,
right?
that your items don't have leather in it, there's pretty simple ways of doing that. You just read the label.
Yeah, and just like, if it might be. So if you think it might be, read it. Read it and weep because it's sad. And then move on to the next item.
I think people also have this misconception that, well, the sheep grow the wool anyway. They have to be sheared. What do we do with it?
Everyone says that.
But it's because we've bred them that way. We've bred them with these characteristics to grow so much wool that they need to be sheared. So the solution here is just stop breeding them.
Exactly.
Forcefully breeding them.
Yeah, you think they were made for us to wear? No, that was just protection for them.
Yes. And this same concept, I encourage people to look further into the leather industry and also fur. The practices within these industries, people will try to find the right way to do the wrong thing, but at the end of the day, there's no right way to take materials or take somebody's life away.
Yeah, it's like their skin. It's their hair. It's like being like me being yanked and like my hair being chopped off all the time and like being stuck in like a prison just for my body.
But dude, it's like all for what? For you to like think that you look cool? There was this guy that I dated who I was like head over heels for. I thought he was the hottest shit at the time. He was this like punk rocker dude covered in tattoos. Ugh, love.
Bad boy.
And he had this leather jacket.
Of course.
And at the time, I was vegan, but I wasn't as outspoken. I wasn't like an activist like I am today.
Right.
And I remember one time we worked together. This was bad. We were leaving the office and we were going out for karaoke with some of the other coworkers. It was a Christmas party and we were in the office, and as he was about to put his jacket on, he went to like grab something else. He says, "Can you hold this for me?" And I'm like, a million thoughts went through my head. I was like, oh my God, I love this man. I don't want to upset him, but I also don't want to hold his like cow skin leather jacket. What do I do? And I just looked at him. I said, I'm sorry. I need to run to the bathroom. I'll be back.
You're like, oops.
Didn't end up holding his leather jacket.
Wow, Jamie is extreme. She's like, you won't even hold it.
No, you're lucky. He's lucky he doesn't know me now. I would probably have like a serious sit-down conversation with him and force him to watch slaughter videos for an hour if I knew him today. But
he's
long gone. Well, I would just play it and then guide his head and eyeballs towards the screen.
You're like, look at it. Look at it.
Watch it. Look at what you're participating in. Yeah, if you're going to wear it, you should at least know where it comes from, right?
Exactly. So, that's not even enough for some people, though.
Dude, it is absurd, and that's my little dating story. And listen, if you're out there, I'm not going to say his name, listening to this, you know who you are. And I hope that you've switched to wearing a vegan leather jacket.
Yeah, there's so many options. Like on the show that I worked on, the guys that made the jackets for the show also had vegan alternatives.
The point is if you could get that same look without hurting anybody, why wouldn't you do that?
Right. I think most people would do that if they could.
Yeah. And also realizing that the leather industry in particular has put out smear campaigns to say, oh, but there's plastic in those vegan leathers. It's bad for the environment. Right. And it's like, there's plastic in leather too. And what's really bad for the environment is the actual leather products, because you put so many toxic chemicals on the skins to keep it from breaking down. And also you dunk the leather skins in formaldehyde, people develop cancers, and then that water goes into our
ocean.
It's
crazy.
So you want to talk about the environment? Like, come at me, buddy. I'm ready. Let's go.
Right. And it's not even just leather. Like right now, like I think feathers are like a real trendy thing right now, you know?
If you want the high-end products, look at Gucci just did a launch with Billie Eilish for the vegan bag. I mean, you can get everything that you need from vegan products, period.
Right. And it's happening. Like Gucci wouldn't have done that if it wasn't something that they knew was going to be something that was going to be sustainable for the future and something that the people just want. We just have to remember, like, don't put your money to these companies that are doing the wrong thing. If you tell them we're not going to buy it and we just invest in the things that are cruelty-free, we're going to get more of it.
Totally.
Simple as that.
Totally. So I want to bring Raine Michaels on because I just need some of her fashion tips. I want to be her. This woman is incredible.
I would love to know where her go-tos are and how she taps into her femininity in a cruel-free way.
Okay, let's interrogate.
We're coming for you, Raine.
So I went vegan when I was 19 and I was eating vegan, but I didn't fully grasp the concept of being like a complete vegan, I guess to say. So I was still wearing leather, not really understanding all those things. Fur was immediately gone. I haven't worn fur in that's a no-brainer. I've done fur marches. So I'm really into all of that, but the leather was hard. And I'm sure, as you guys know, it's kind of, they try and put it in literally everything. Like, I mean, on jeans, they put like a leather patch and I'm like,
right.
Not like, you know, like, I'm like, I just want a pair of cotton jeans without an animal being on it, you know? So that is kind of how I started figuring out that leather is also something you're not supposed to wear when you're a vegan. You can't say you're vegan if you're still wearing animals. So this is actually funny. You guys were talking about the vegan Gucci bag. This is my first like luxury vegan purchase. So I'm very happy with this one. It's incredible. I love Billie Eilish for that because I love what Gucci's doing and, you know, promoting cruelty-free. And this actually was so hard to get because it sold out so fast.
Wow.
So that's a great news for us because obviously people are wanting it. And I think what they did is really cool because they kind of, I think, created like their own vegan leather, which is awesome, like called like Dimetra or something, which is really cool. So that's a step in the right direction, obviously.
Totally.
Right. It goes to show you how influenced people can be.
Yeah. That's, I mean, from seeing like how hard this was to get, I was like, okay, people want this. People want the vegan options.
When it comes to like your broadcasting and fashion, do you find yourself, at least in the beginning when you were making that transition, do you find yourself having a difficult time being fashionable and professional and vegan and cruelty-free?
I mean, no, I don't think so. There's so many options now. One of my favorite brands, specifically for like when I'm broadcasting, because they have such great like blazers and stuff, is Alice and Olivia. They do like a ton of vegan leather and stuff like that. And like so fashionable, so cute. Lots of sets, like matching sets, which I love. Like especially on air, it looks really like chic, all put together. So that's one of my favorite brands for that. So I mean, no, I just go on if I'm on Revolve, if I'm shopping on these places, I just go and I make sure I look, you know, what's in this specific blazer, what's in these pants, blah, blah, blah. Like if they look silky, I'm like, okay, what's in those? If this blazer looks like it might be leather, what is it? But they always like, which is the nice thing now, is they really like show you online if there's leather or not in it, which is easy now.
Well, do you just have like a million clothes? Like, do you have to buy new stuff every time? Do you rewear things? What's your take on that? Yeah.
I do try and rewear things. Obviously, like in broadcasting, it's hard because you're doing a show a week. So if you're wearing the same thing as you were in the last show, people are probably going to notice like, oh, she's wearing the same blazer in every game she's doing.
I hate that.
Like,
I hate that for us.
I know. It sucks. It definitely sucks. But the way I look at it is like, okay, I can promote that I can be fashionable while still being cruelty free. That's the way I look at it, even though obviously it's not great that you have to buy so many options of clothes. It's a good thing to be like, okay, I always tag what I'm wearing too. And I'm like, okay, this is my favorite vegan blazer that I'm wearing, my favorite vegan pants. And I always tag the brand. And I've had a lot of people actually reach out and be like, oh, I actually bought this because I saw you wearing it and I love it. And it's yeah, exactly. It's great. And I think just having like staple pieces, especially for like broadcasting, is really important. Like I have like one staple black blazer and I wear different colored shirts under it. So it looks, you know, it's a different outfit, but wearing the same thing.
Great tip. What do you do if you're on a photo shoot and they got leather shoes or some type of wool product? How do you handle that?
I mean, it's tough because it's their brand that you're being, you know, like forced essentially to wear. So it's kind of like, it's a tough situation. But the good thing is that with modeling agencies now, when you sign like a contract, you're actually able to put in the contract if you're not comfortable wearing fur or leather and stuff like that. So that was one of the main things I did with my agency, was just saying, you know, I am 100% not comfortable with wearing fur, leather. At the time, I was like, okay, I don't want to. But if it's their brand. But the good thing is I usually do like swim and stuff like that. So I'm not usually wearing leather, which is great. So I haven't really been put into that situation right now, but honestly, I think I would probably speak up and say, you know what, this really goes against what I believe in, and I just don't really wear that. Is there a way maybe I can just be barefoot? You know?
Is that something that made you a little hesitant, especially being a model? I mean, like you said, like you're just there to show up and show off their brand.
Thankfully, my agents were very understanding. They obviously see all my activism posts on Instagram, so they're very aware of where I stand and everything. But I mean, there is certain situations where it's almost like impossible to get out of. But sometimes the way I think of it is like, okay, I'm being paid by them. I'm not supporting them, essentially. So that's kind of how I think about it sometimes. But honestly, I can't remember the last time I had to wear leather on a shoot. I really like have kind of branched away from the brands that are like leather, like just all promoting leather, all promoting like wool and cashmere and stuff like that. Don't really work with any of those anymore. And because I'm doing more sports broadcasting now than modeling, I get to pick out my own outfits, which is fantastic. So yeah, it hasn't been like a super big issue as of lately, but when I did bring it up to my agency, they were actually very understanding about it, which was great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How has your style evolved over the years? Like, give us some fashion tips that we can use.
Yes, it has definitely evolved. I actually was looking through my old Instagram posts today and I was like, wow, that is always a fun experience to go down and be like, what was I thinking? So I think my style now is a lot more like kind of just like simple chic. Like I love like just good basics and like kind of being able to dress them up with like a nice vegan bag or a nice pair of vegan shoes or like jewelry and stuff like that. So like I love like I'm really into linen right now, obviously with summer. So like linen is one of my go-tos right now. I love like a linen shirt with just like kind of boyfriend jeans and like a vegan sandal is kind of my summer staple right now. So I mean, it's just I think I've evolved in just the way of being more like relaxed in what I'm wearing, like not as bold and crazy, which there's nothing wrong with. But for me personally, I just wanted to tone it down a little bit and like just be a little bit more
tranquilo.
People think that when you have vegan shoes, you have to look like Peter Pan and that you have to wear like leaves or Jesus shoes, that they look hippie and kind of odd. And I'm like, no, look inside my closet. I have such cute shoes. Sometimes people will actually ask me on the street where I've gotten some of the shoes. And I have to shout out Moo Shoes in New York City. You can order from them online. It's an all vegan shoe store. So it takes the pressure off of having to like read the label and being unsure of like what type of glues or skins were used in the process of making the shoe. It's like you go to Moo Shoes if you need a new pair of shoes and you're all set, good to go. No animals harmed in the making.
It's always tricky. I mean, like if I go to a store, I like, and you even ask people, they're like, what are you talking about?
Like, of course it's vegan.
Yeah, of course. Like, sure. And I'm like, are you like, do you know that for sure? And so I have to go online, like even while I'm shopping in a store, I go online, search up the shoe that I'm looking at, look through all like, you know, what it's made of, everything. And that's kind of the way I do it. It's tricky, especially shoes, because I feel like now, like in the past maybe 3 or 4 years, we're seeing a lot more brands that are bringing out like really cute vegan shoes, but it was difficult before that. There wasn't a lot of like great brands that I was finding. I'm writing down everything you guys are saying right now because I always need more inspiration. So I found like a couple brands that I'm absolutely obsessed with. Like Femme is a really good one for heels. They're amazing, all vegan, pretty affordable. Like when it comes, and all the celebrities are wearing these shoes right now. Like, I mean, like literally everyone is wearing these vegan shoes. Like all the stylists are using them. They're just like simple heels and they're really cute and they happen to be vegan and they're beautiful.
How do you handle different social media trends? Like this past winter, we saw the mob wife trend explode and everybody's walking around in big fur coats. And, you know, I think that there is a part of the population that wants to fit in and wants to participate in these trends. So what is your advice when it comes to these social media trends and sticking to your morals?
I mean, as we've seen, they come and go. So you don't need to fall victim to every single trend you see. The mob wife trend, that was in and out in like a month. So don't go buy a poor animal that's been slaughtered for fur when you're going to be over it in 5 minutes because unfortunately that animal is never going to get their life back from you just deciding that you wanted to partake in a trend. Like, it sucks. And if you want to partake in a trend like that, then go the cruelty-free way. There's so many beautiful like faux fur coats that I have, and I absolutely love them. I actually have a huge red Philip Klein one, and it literally says I'd rather be naked than wear fur, like in huge letters on the back. And I always wear that out, like in New York when it's cold. I wear that, and people are like, I get stopped everywhere, like, I love your coat, and I'm like,
I need that coat.
it's really cute. Like, it was an investment, but it's really, I love it because it's a message. Like, I'm promoting it without even saying anything. You know what I mean?
It's good that it has the message on the back because that would be my one concern with wearing like a big faux fur coat is people might think it's real.
Right.
Yes.
Same with pleather.
Yeah.
Pleather's tricky too.
Pleather's tricky. But I think people are more like understanding that pleather is a thing more so. Do you have any like good like vegan leather jacket brands?
I think I have my staple one that I have right now, I believe is from Pistola. Which is a great brand. I'm not sure if they're fully vegan, but I know that this jacket is. Yes. And like I said before, Allison Olivia honestly is one of my go-tos because they are, I think she's honestly transitioning like completely away from leather. Everything that I look on her website now that looks like leather is vegan.
Amazing.
So she's one of my favorite brands for that. I mean, and Free People usually has a good selection of like faux leather jackets as well. So anywhere that you just have to be diligent and look.
When it comes to the cost of things, I mean, some people will say shop high end because it'll last longer. You don't have to buy as much.
Right.
Other people will then say, oh, I can't afford that because it's vegan. They assume that all vegan products are very expensive, which is absurd to me. Right. But what would you say to that, to somebody that thinks that?
I mean, if you're going out and buying something for the same price that's leather, I don't really understand when people say that because I'm like, you have no questions about it when you're going out and buying it when it's leather.
Right.
So why do you care if it's the same price if it's vegan? You know what I mean? Like,
it's so true.
That doesn't make sense to me. I'm like,
yeah,
and they're like, oh, like vegan food too. Like, it's a big thing. Like, oh, like I went to this vegan restaurant and it was expensive. And I'm like, but you go to another restaurant and get food and it's the same price or more.
1,000%.
Why do you care? Like,
I just went to a restaurant with my boyfriend. He's plant-based as much as possible. And we went to don't look at me like that. We went to a restaurant and he only chose the vegan options. Right. But the thing is, it was beyond expensive. I looked at him, I was like,
how do you deal with friends and family that are not yet vegan?
That's so tough. I try and educate as much as possible. I've actually now gotten my sister to go fully vegan, which I'm really proud of myself for that. She finally was like, all right, stop sending me the slaughter videos. I'll do it. And I was like, I did it. Yeah. It's like, it worked. It finally worked. So thank you, PETA, for those beautiful videos that, that
are disturbing.
Powerful.
But, powerful. Exactly. So she's fully vegan. My mom and dad, I'm trying to get them there. They're just about there. They've completely given up red meat, which is a step in the right direction. So it's tough just because, they have such a different mindset than we do on veganism as a whole, just because they grew up and that was it. Like, you're getting meat and potatoes for dinner. That's what their parents made and that's what they ate and that's what they know. Right. But I think I'm doing it, I'm educating and I think that they're understanding and that's all I can ask for, right? Like, obviously I want my whole family to be vegan,
right?
But in the moment, just them understanding me and accepting me for what I am passionate about is a big step in the right direction.
Do you find it difficult to find vegan options when it comes to the fashion industry? I know we talked about shoes, but do you think like now in 2024, do you think it's difficult to make those choices?
I don't think so at all. I don't think it is at all. There is so many cute, and people think that you have to specifically look for vegan, but it's like, just go buy a cotton shirt, like it's been around for a million years. Like, totally. You don't have to specifically go out and wear a pair of jeans, It's pretty actually easy when you think about it.
I feel like you could look good in anything, but I'm super curious about your job and working in a male-dominated field and maybe you wear certain things to either
Where are you
express
going, Jamie?
femininity or not. Like when I'm around the guys, I just want to be in like hoodies and sweatpants.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want you looking at me like that.
Right.
You know? So tell me about that. What's your experience like in that world?
I mean, I love it. I've always loved sports. I'm super unathletic, so I was like, how can I get into sports without actually playing?
I
the
could
sport,
talk about it.
I was like, wait, there's a whole other world that I can just talk about the sports.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my mindset of going into it. But I mean, it is definitely a male dominated industry, and you're definitely like always kind of like have to prove yourself just a little bit more as a woman in the industry. But I've been very fortunate to be around, luckily, men that are very, you know, uplifting to women in the industry. So I've been very fortunate. But I mean, it is tricky because I do have to be like wearing professional like clothes, and some of them are a little bit more sexy. So it's a little bit tricky. But I think when you have the confidence, you come out, you're like, I'm confident in what I'm wearing. They kind of are like, oh, okay, like she's confident. She is happy with what she's wearing, and I think they appreciate.
They know their place. They know their place.
Yeah,
I have a question about, since you are mostly on camera, right? Whether that's modeling or broadcasting, what would you say to other people who are on camera and they are facing this transition of going vegan, cruelty-free? What advice would you give to them?
I would just say, you know, if you're thinking about it, then do it. You have, like you said, you have power in what you're wearing and what you're showing to the world. Like you said, we're on camera, so people are seeing us. They're seeing what we're wearing. And with me, the thing is they see me maybe on camera, and then they go to my Instagram, which is a whole thing. And then they see, oh, she's vegan. And then I post what I'm wearing. It's a whole, I know how to work it. I'm like, you know, if they're going to see me there, then they might come to my Instagram. And if I'm posting what I'm wearing because they saw it on TV and they liked it, now they might be influenced by knowing that I'm wearing something vegan. And I always post like my makeup too, because I'm very into like the cruelty-free makeup and skincare as well. I work with Beagle Freedom Project, who like rescues the beagles from the testing facilities. So I'm very into that as well. So I always post like, I've done a few like get readies with me, and I'm like, oh, this is what I'm wearing for like on camera look, you know, stuff like that. So I mean, I think if everyone that's broadcasting could just, you know, we have influence to people watching. They are watching us for a reason. And I think if we could all just, you know, promote a little bit more kindness and cruelty-free, it would be incredible.
Amazing. Well, you're doing just that. And I'm so curious to know any specific tips in how to be more confident, or a specific tip in like a skincare thing that you do every day. Like what are some just like little basic things that make a big difference in your daily life?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm like, let me think of my bag of tricks. Confidence, I mean, I think it's just like, honestly, surrounding yourself with like other really, you know, confident and amazing people. It really uplifts you. Like you guys are just so amazing and confident in what your message is. And I think it's like incredible. And just skincare wise, I'm like, what's my skincare? I love to do like a glowy like mask in the morning. That's like one of my go-tos, because I think it like really brightens you for the day. A vitamin C serum is always great.
Thank you. This is awesome. Where can people find you?
Find me on Instagram, Raine _M. I'm also on TikTok, same username. And you can find me. I was on ESPN last season for doing sports broadcasting, and hopefully ESPN again this year doing sports broadcasting. You'll find out on my Instagram.
She's you're veganifying the ESPN peeps over there.
Love it.
Yeah, they're a tough bunch to crack, but I'm getting there.
Well, yes, girl.
This season, I hope that you show up in your Meat is Murder shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we could do like a cool little demo where you're like in a big faux fur coat and we're like pour blood over you or something on ESPN. Scare the players.
She's like, I'm trying to keep my job. I'm trying to do infiltration slowly but surely. I will, but relax.
Like she's being dragged out of the stadium as we speak.
Yeah, they're like, no.
How about you sneak us in, and then we'll like be behind you in the broadcast.
We can't talk about it live.
All right, we'll talk about this off. You're like,
how did they get in
who
here?
are these lunatics back here? And
Yo.
we're like demonstrating what happens.
Me like cutting the fence before the game. I'm like,
Yeah. We're liberating.
We'll talk about it. We can't
Okay.
give all our secrets away right now.
We'll figure it out. I
Let's
have
go.
some ideas.
Ooh,
like
love
the way
it.
you think.
Thank you so much, Raine. We'll talk to you soon.
Guys. Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
And I think that my biggest takeaway is just like the power of your individual influence. Like,
I would just like to say that adding on to that,
I would just like to say, blah.
we are almost done with this episode, and I'm just going to try to blurt out any last minute words that I can if
Do
I
it.
still have the brain capacity.
You do.
I would just like to say that adding on to what you just said, that
She's falling asleep, you guys.
that I would just like to say that it is absurd to me.
The second time you started like you're like, I just want to say never.
I'm gonna get fired. I would just like to say that it is absolutely absurd to me
Yes.
that these people on TikTok and Instagram, who I will say I find very entertaining, are like promoting
Dumb shit.
eating like disgusting foods. Like this one girl, she's gorgeous. She's like, you know, really funny and easy to listen to. But it's like they talk about like this really drinking heavily, eating burgers, wearing leather, getting Botox. It's like that's like considered quote unquote cool.
I know, it's the new standard. It's sad.
Yeah. And then there's little old me eating my little green beans, and like everyone's like, you're a loser. And I'm like, well, why is eating green beans not as cool as like
Eating a dead body. I'm like, bro, that's a
Yeah.
dead body.
guys, I encourage you all to get active, to hold these brands accountable, to speak up even when your voice shakes. And also, as we learned today, to step into your power and influence others to be more kind, be more compassionate, and be fashionable while doing it.
Yeah, and if it's scary to scream to the top of your lungs, all those chants, you can make such an impact by just not purchasing those items.
Yes.
As simple as that. That is the biggest impact
I'll
you can
scream
do.
for you.
She'll scream for you.
The blood is on your hands, and we'll be back. Oh, yes, we will be back. Well, before we'll be back, I'm at It's Jamie's Corner.
I'm at Justina.
This is Just So You Know podcast. Follow PETA.
Comment, share if you care. Share if you care. Share if you care. And like you always say, we'll be back.
We'll be back.